A couple years ago, I bought this ultrasonic cleaner, and it's done, well, a really good job, to be honest with you, but it's got some shortcomings, and it was just stuff that I couldn't get past, and, well, time to replace it. So I'll tell you about it and show you what I got. Let's go. This ultrasonic cleaner has done really well. It's been abused. I've put, I don't know, probably a couple hundred carburetors through it in the 2 years that I've had it. But when I say there's problems with it, it's just more of a bad decision on my end than it was with the ultrasonic cleaner. It's done well, I think. It certainly allowed me to get a little bit cleaner on some carburetors and some other parts I've used. The problem with it is there's not enough room. This is a 10-liter ultrasonic cleaner, and the problem is I can really only effectively do half of a carburetor at a time. When you're talking about an Edelbrock carburetor, it's the main body, some little pieces and parts, and then once I'm satisfied with it clean, comes out the air horn assembly and everything else left, and what other little things I want to clean will go in for a second bath. That's a problem because I typically run these in about 20-minute cycles, keep the temperature up, and sometimes I'll run it for 2 cycles, depending how ugly they are when they go in, but the 10-liter just hasn't been enough. But before we take a look at what I bought, let's pop the bottom off this thing, because I just want to show you what that looks like and what the insides look like. We'll take it off the bottom of the new unit as well, too, because it's got a different number of transducers, heating unit, and all that. So let's get this one zipped off. Now we got the bottom off. Take a little bit closer look here. These 4 pods right there are the transducers. That's what shakes and agitates up the water, essentially. Keeps it moving. 4 in a 10-liter unit's not that bad. I didn't have any issue with it, really. It could have been more. Yeah, I would have loved to have had more, but you had to buy a bigger unit. So the more transducers you have in a ultrasonic unit, the better. That is the heating element right there. Very small. That's the reason why it takes so long for this unit to heat up. If I get regular tap water out of the tap and put it in here, it takes about an hour for 10 liters. Out with the old and in with the new. This is a 30-liter ultrasonic cleaner. I went from 10-liter to 30-liter, so yeah, I've tripled my effective cleaning area or volume. I think I'm going to be able to fit 2 carburetors in here. We're going to try that in just a quick second and see what we can fit in here, but this thing is massive. It's going to be everything that I'm going to need. Like I said, if I can get 2 carburetors in here, that really, really changes the efficiency of the game here. For me, that's going to be pretty important because I don't clean a ton of carburetors a week anymore. I've kind of scaled back, but if I can do in 30 minutes or 2 30-minute cycles or 2 20-minute cycles in this thing and get the same cleaning effect that I had in the 10-liter unit, it's going to save me a ton of time. That's our old Carter, all the pieces, and that is a 600 CFM vacuum secondaries Holley, and it looks like it all fits in there pretty good. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, no problem at all. Even if we added a few more things in there, added all the hardware in there, maybe small little basket, level line for the fluid is going to come up to there approximately. Now that I know this, I'm going to lower it down quite a bit. Just doesn't need to be that full, but yeah, so we're in good shape. Should be able to fit 2 Edelbrocks in there, 2 4150, 2 4160 style carburetors. No problem. I guess before we do that, let's flip this over. We'll pop the bottom off, and I'll show you what the inside looks like. Okay, we got a lot going on down here. So Those are the 10 transducers that this one comes with. What I was looking for, a little bit more horsepower. This one's certainly going to deliver that. I guess it's also going to depend how much fluid's in there, but yeah, having those 10 is pretty cool. All of the circuit boards and relays, power. There's the power unit over there. Yeah, all pretty standard. Fan to keep everything cool. Here's something interesting, and I'm going to try it a little bit differently this time, just see how long it takes. But it's kind of hard to see, but the heating unit is on the sides here. Remember there was a little pad on the bottom? I think that's just a ground. There was a little small pad. The reason why it took so long on the other one was because it didn't have a very big heating pad. And I can keep from tearing all the... This one feels like it's pretty big, so I'm going to assume that... yeah. So without tearing this whole thing apart, looking at it, it looks like that heating element is on both sides of the tank, and maybe it's going to heat up a little bit quicker. I don't know. We're going to find out. I guess we'll do a full test on it. Honestly, what I do with the smaller unit is I will go boil water on the stove in a pot. It takes 10 minutes, whatever, and then just dump it in, and brings it up to operating temperature immediately. So it cuts down the waiting time quite substantially. But I'm going to let this one go and see how long it takes to heat up. Let me get this put back together and then get the 10 liter up here. Okay, we're full of water up to the fill line. We're powered on. As soon as I hit the start, it will start to cycle through. I have mine set at the default 19.59, 20 minutes, and then 65 degrees. I'm not going to wait for it to heat up, but I do have a decibel meter. It's telling me what it's at right now, and you can kind of hear where that's at when it fires up. That's tap cold water, just right out of the faucet here. I'm going to add my cleaner to it. Now, I'm going to go probably a little less with this. It's not bad. Those carburetors are not in horrible shape. So I don't think I'm going to need, a really aggressive solution here. Sometimes I'll run this straight. But most of the time I'll dilute it down quite a bit. So this is about a gallon. I think that was about 1.25 gallons. Looks like we're about maybe a little over 7 gallons in here. We've got 1.5 gallons of the cleaner, so you do the math on the water. But I'm going to get down here. We'll fire it up, and then we'll see how long we'll time it, see how long it takes to get to the temperature we want. I don't know. I'm hopeful that it's going to be fairly quickly. So put the lid on, we'll get down here and we'll fire it up. Okay, it looks like our default temperature is going to be 40 degrees Celsius. We'll see when we can crank that up to. I have it on 65 on my other unit. I think I go there, and then yeah, we'll try a 30-minute cleaning cycle when we get there. So let us start that off and see how long it takes us to get up to that 65 degrees Celsius. We'll start the timer right now. All right, let's see how long it takes to get there. All right, we are 18 minutes in, and we have not warmed up yet. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait longer, see where we're at. All right, we are... almost 30 minutes into this thing, and yeah, she's a little slow. Okay, we are hour and 15 minutes in, and yeah, we're very, very slowly creeping up here. All right, we are 2 hours, 23 minutes in, and we are at 56 degrees Celsius. Now, I'm going to be a little unfair with this. 65 is a really high number. That is, I don't know that I ever hit that on my other one, but I always dump or make that number much higher because I always want the heating pad to continue to work. If I set it at 50, it can fluctuate a little bit. The pad isn't strong enough to keep up with the heat. So if you raise it, it's always going to be above 50. It's not that big of a deal that it's taken 2.5 hours to get there. I wouldn't be concerned with that. Like I said, usually I will put my cleaning solution in. I will go boil water on the stove, add it to it, and this process takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're at that operating temperature really quickly. I just wanted to see what the heating pad's capable of, and because this is such a large gallon tank, it's just not going to do very well. So 2 hours, 25 minutes at 56 degrees Celsius, that's not bad. Let's go ahead and start the test. All right, let's go ahead and add our carburetors to this. And I think yeah. So another issue here, this basket isn't very good with those handles aren't long enough, so I would make them a little bit longer. But okay, we're in. Let's go ahead and put the on, and we'll set the timer. Okay, we're up to 60. Timer set for 30 minutes. That's what I'm going to do. And all I was going to do is just hit on, and we'll go. All right. Let's take a peek here. That I did not add enough Dawn dish soap to that. It's floating a little bit of it, but the Dawn dish soap really makes a big difference in that. So, okay. Well, I made some little clips to get these, get the basket out. I'm not sticking my hands down in there. And then we'll get it outside and get it rinsed off. We'll take a look, see what happened. Alright, this is going to get messy. Let's see how we did here. These are going to be a little hot. Not bad. Not bad. The dirtiest part was this main body on this Holly. Let's see how that looks. Not too bad. Alright, let's get it washed off and on the bench. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, before we drag the carburetors in here, let's go ahead and drain some of this fluid out of here. Now they give you a little hose, little plastic nipple. I think if it was, I will definitely upgrade that to something a little bit more permanent. And hose is okay, I guess, but yeah, just make sure it gets into your bucket. Alright, here's what's left in the bottom of the pan. Pretty typical. Those carburetors weren't horribly dirty, so I guess it's about what I expected to see. But that right there is a problem, and we're going to talk about that right now. Well, in a minute. Alright, let's see what these look like. A little closer look here. I pretty much left just everything assembled. Didn't really take anything apart. Just wanted to see how it all turned out. And I guess it's not too bad. Get some carburetor cleaner and look at some of this, because I noticed that we're a little dirty here. But this is to be expected. It's not like it comes out of the ultrasonic and it's perfectly shiny. You're always going to have to do a little bit of does it loosen enough to get you into a place where you can clean it really easily. So now sometimes they come out really clean and spotless, and other times they're kind of like this one where, yeah. So I mean, it's not too bad. I would still consider that good. You know, it's not the greatest. Part of that's my problem. I should have added some more Dawn dish detergent in there. Sometimes that will pull some of this stuff off there, and it certainly tends to suspend the dirt. But that's cleaned up pretty good. Some of that's pretty stained. We'll be able to get a little bit of that out of there, but yeah, not too bad. Now, one thing on the Edelbrock carburetor that's pretty common is it tends to gray the finish. So I will usually hit that with a little bit of shark hide to kind of seal that up a little bit so it doesn't deteriorate as much anymore. Again, I mean, I'm not spending a lot of time here on it, but yeah, I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, it wiped right off, so, you know, that little film on there, not concerning to me. That's in a condition that I would expect, and I'm not disappointed with that. My other ultrasonic is pretty much the same way, you know, in a smaller batch. So again, you know, this isn't a professional, you know, high temp, high speed, you know, cleaning solution. I'm just using an off the shelf at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Tractor Supply, Canadian Tire, wherever it is you buy your stuff. You'll probably find that orange cleaner. It does fairly well. Of all the stuff that I've tried here recently, it's been about the best. So this Carter actually turned out really good on the inside, but it was pretty clean to begin with. So okay, well, it's not bad. I would say it did what it was supposed to do. Well, I kind of know what it looks like, and yeah, so let's get the unit back on the bench here, and we'll talk about some final thoughts here. You know, for what this is, and tripling the size of the capacity that I can do when I clean carburetors, yeah, to me that makes this very worthwhile. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Does it do the job efficiently? Yes. Does it do it as well as my old unit does? Yes. So this one by VEVOR, yeah, would I recommend it? Sure. And I will leave a link down below. I'm not going to use their affiliate link, but I will use a coupon. There's a coupon code down there that's generic that you can use it for anything. If you want to take a look at this, when I ordered it, the day I ordered it, I think it was 3 days to get to me. So they've got a warehouse somewhere here in the U.S. they're shipping out of. So that's certainly a good thing. Let's talk about the things that I don't like about this first, because there's a couple, but there's not that many. The time to heat that up. Now, like I mentioned earlier, that element, doesn't matter how well big an element you put in there, it's just not made to heat up very quickly. I think if you look at like a professional one, a professional unit of these, which are certainly, you know, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 or more for a really good ultrasonic cleaner, they have a much different heating element. But for what you get out of this, couple hours to heat that up probably wasn't bad. Remember, that's 8 gallons of fluid in there, almost 8 gallons. And yeah, it's going to take it some time. Like I said, there's a little trick to get it a little bit quicker by boiling the water and dumping it in there, and you can cut that time down to a third of that or a quarter of that. So not that big of a deal, but if you're relying on just the heater, know that it's going to take several hours for it to get up to operating temperature. The other thing I didn't really like is this the drain hose with that plastic nipple on there. Get yourself a good brass one, and then connect a good hose to it with the right length so you can get the drain out of there. Again, not that big of a deal. They include one in there, whatever. I mentioned this earlier and told you we'd come back to it. Remember in the tank we saw that little black nipple? what that is the little feet here that suspend the basket off the bottom, which you need to keep the fluid moving. Unfortunately, these little black nipples come off here, so there's probably something you could do. I haven't really thought about it too much, but I don't like that, but not that big of a deal. The other one that I have has material that's been bonded to it, kind of like a chemical dip type of deal where it kind of wraps around it. If they would have connected this end to this one and then dipped it, probably would have been a little bit better. But no big deal. You'll figure out something. I just don't want to scratch up the bottom of that stainless tank and cause any issue or whatever. So anyway, again, not that big of a deal. These are very small, nitpicky little things that I'm picking on here. They're not major end-all, be-all. Last little thing, VEVOR obviously is an offshore company, so the instructions read a little funky, but you'll get it for the most part. They do include a nice chart in there about all the different cleaner sizes. You'll see the different gallons, liters that they size come in, and give you some of the specs on it. So really, there's not a lot you need with the instructions, but they do include it, so I guess that's good to go. So what would I rate this thing if I was going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is worst and 10 is the best? I think I would probably give it a 7.5. I think that's fair. I don't think that's unfair at all. It's got a good number of transducers in it. The heating element could be a little bit better. Maybe some of the little pieces that they included that could a little bit better, higher quality. But again, right now, at the time of this video, this thing retails for $285. It's not like it's a $500 element. Very, very inexpensive. So, and again, I got it within 3 days, 4 days of ordering it. So I think that rating's fair. I think the product's good. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you need one, again, the sizes are going to dictate what comes with it. They don't all come with the 10 transducers we saw. But I think with this one, what I learned with this first time using it is I would add a little bit more Dawn dish detergent. I always put that in there because it helps grab hold of the particles. It separates them, suspends them, and then the cleanup's a little bit easier. And I think what it does is it also cleans up the product that you're trying to clean. In my case, I almost always use this for carburetors. So these probably would have came out a little bit cleaner, but for what they are, not that bad. And then, like I say, the orange Zep that I use, I would probably add just a little bit more. Even though these weren't super dirty, a little bit more would probably make it a little bit better. So anyway, I think that's fair. 7.5 out of 10. Great product. I would absolutely recommend it. Like I said, link will be down below. Right now they've got a coupon code for, I think, 5% off. I'll leave all the information down in the description. Again, it's not an affiliate link. I don't get anything from this. I just wanted to review it and let you guys make the final decision on it. But for me, I will definitely be using this one more frequently. Allow me to upgrade and get a little bit more aggressive with the number of carburetors I can clean at one time, and should be good to go. So anyway, if you got any questions on this one, don't hesitate. Please leave them down below. Be happy to answer any of them. And then certainly go check out the folks at VEVOR. They've got a ton of product. We did a review 6 months ago on their little handheld endoscope. Absolutely love that thing. They use it all the time. And the ultrasonic cleaner was the next product they wanted me to take a look at. So anyway, I guess we'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you.